The No Money But Dreams podcast is for those millennial dreamers
who try to be in the top 1%.
It doesn't matter what we've achieved.
We wake up every morning with the mindset that we're still broke.
We welcome you on our journey in search of that home run.
Which can change everything.
Everything?
Everything. Episode 40 of the No Money But Dreams podcast. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about something that you and I have been working on for 10, 15 years. We haven't made it yet. And this is what the podcast is really about.
Yeah.
No money but dreams. We still have those dreams. We still want to hit a home run. And I think I want to go after this a little bit more, as people, in my opinion, don't go after it hard enough, or long enough. And I want to focus on a couple of different aspects which I think are preparing me for the time when the home run is coming, similar to you, stacking skills, and then kind of give my opinion of what people should be doing. So I want to start off by asking you, what do you think is your home run going to be? Obviously, you don't know that yet, but
I know what it's going to look like.
All right, tell me then.
Ready? Okay, so it's $1 million in monthly recurring revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, with a team of 5 people.
Wow.
Where I can be anywhere in the world. I don't exactly know what I'm going to be selling. I don't know, but I know what it looks like.
Yeah.
And there's a couple GT3 RSs in the picture.
Yeah.
And I can be anywhere in the world. That's what I want to achieve. So right now I'm looking at obviously my skill set and all of that, and figuring out what kind of business could bring that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I know what it looks like.
Tech related?
Of course, there'll have to be it's going to have to be some sort of code tech relation with a media component. Those two things coming together, which will allow me to scale without borders. So it would be something that I could sell anywhere in the world. So it could be a course, for example. It could be a product. More likely something that isn't physical, isn't really tangible, because obviously that's way more scalable. And I would want to invest, let's say, 100 hours of time into it, and then be able to sell it 1 million times. You know, have no boundaries to how many times that thing could be reproduced, and hopefully it would be a reproduction at no incremental cost.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where my head is at. So I'm just looking for what that is. Now, in the meantime, what am I doing? I'm working. I wouldn't say I'm working so hard on the tech side. I feel that more and more, especially with AI, the tech is becoming commoditized. You can also get tech built for you at a very, very competitive price with people working all over the world. It's not like when we were in LA trying to figure out how to build Driven. And I think, how much did we pay for those goddamn screens?
Yeah.
5 screens.
But yeah, it was
$4,000.
Yeah, two
maybe
guys.
$1,000 a screen.
Two guys in. No, it was a bit. It was a few more screens, but 2 guys in Chicago that did us this clickable prototype for way too much money.
Bro, I can do that on Canva now for you.
Yeah.
But at the time, it wasn't way too much money. We saw the value in it. We needed it in the pitch deck.
Yeah.
But all that's kind of changing.
Yeah.
And I think where the real value add is how do you bring the media component and content creation with that piece of tech or code that you're trying to do. So I know exactly what it is, like what the box looks like. Now I just need to fill the box.
So you definitely have worked on the media side. So it feels like you need a product that you can then make a lot of noise about and create good funnels, so that organic funnels, you don't even...
So that's one fallacy now, is that the organic top of line isn't good enough anymore. You need to actually build a funnel. Yeah, and it's multiple times that somebody has to interact with you to get to the point where the person has intent to actually buy whatever you're selling.
Yeah, it's a long game. You can't expect someone to watch a video of you the first time and convert into a sales, right? Yeah. So it's a number of different videos. I mean, if you get them to follow, for example, and they watch multiple videos over a number of months, they self-qualify at some point.
Exactly.
When they're ready to buy. But if you're just relying on, today I'm going to create content X and I'm going to get a lot of conversions, that's not how you should be thinking about it. You need to create a community, and it's a longer process on the organic side.
Yeah, but also we come back to the fact that I've been building my own organic content for a year and a bit. I am under no impression that it takes 5 years to build anything. So I need to keep doing this for another 5 years, then come to me and tell me, okay, can you convert? In 5 years, I'm pretty sure if I carry on what I'm doing, I'll be able to convert pretty significantly organically. I would assume. I could be wrong. You know, but someone can't build a following of 150,000 people on Instagram in 1 year and then expect that they can sell 150,000 matchboxes. It just doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? But is it a component which I believe is important? Yes, and so do you, and a lot of people do it.
So now, obviously, you have got the burger experience, which is limiting you to a specific radius of where you can sell.
Yes.
Right? You know exactly that you don't want this anymore. You don't want to be restricted by borders or delivery radiuses.
I mean, look, I've bought my freedom.
Yeah.
In sense that like I don't have to go to the burger joint every single day.
Yeah.
And I can travel tomorrow. In fact, I am traveling tomorrow.
Yeah.
And nobody knows until 2 days ago. You know what I mean? So I've bought my freedom in that sense. But the next freedom to actually have complete peace of mind when you're outside of the country is something that I'm working towards to buy.
Yeah. Interesting. So what else are you doing to get to that point?
On the weekends, actually, the past like 3 or 4 weekends, I've been going really, really deep into building sales funnels. I'm actually going to take a course with a good friend of mine as well, who's going to help me show how to build sales funnels. And I'm really looking at the performance marketing side. I think that I really understand the top of funnel side. I know how to get people's attention. I can make a video that gets 1 million views. Yes, some of the stuff that you need to say in order to get 1 million views is retarded. Not retarded, but like ridiculous. You know what I mean? But then now it's kind of shifting like, okay, I don't want 1 million views. I want 15,000 views of people who are actually getting value from what I'm saying so that I can position myself in whatever the next thing I'm trying to sell will be. And I'm not 100% sure what that is, but I know it has to be something around cars, has to be something around financial markets, and it has to be something around building a community. I think that's kind of what it looks like. And there will be a physical component.
It looks like you're trying to solve rich people's problems.
Wow, trying to solve rich people's problems, get paid rich people's wages.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where my head is at when it comes to that. And I'm working towards that every single day. I'm honing my skills. I know I'm weak in performance marketing. And then I'll tell you what, I reached out to a lot of people to ask how much it costs to do performance marketing, and the amount of money they're charging is ridiculous. So I'm like, fuck that, I'm going to learn myself. Why should I pay $2,000 a month for somebody to run ads when I can just spend $2,000, $4,000 on 4 courses of different perspectives on my weekends to learn the skill myself, then hire somebody and let him do it. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of industries are going to get disrupted now with how easy it is to learn things. I don't know. What do you think on that?
So you're putting time into education. You've kind of identified the areas where you want to operate in.
Yeah.
And then you're just gonna bat and try and hit one of these runs.
Yeah, I mean, the beautiful thing is if you don't have a major physical component, then it's much easier to test things. Like the coffee thing, for example, Freedom Bean. It cost 17,500 dirhams in total to test whether people bought or not. Yes, people bought, but the cost of conversion was pretty high. So now after like training for 1 month and understanding, you can reassess, okay, is it worth pouring another 100,000 dirhams in here to see what happens or not? But what other business can you take a punt, really?
For $3,000-4,000.
For $3,000-4,000. There's not many, man. You know what I mean? So whether it's another thing learned from Freedom Bean is that you're selling 150 dirhams, which are 3 sleeves. Okay, but the problem is when you're selling a low ticket value and it costs you 180 dirhams to convert one person.
You need high volume sales.
You need high volume sales. Great, it's a consumable. But now what if you're selling something that's $5,000? Then you can afford to spend $1,000 to sell something for $5,000. And the cost of ads on Facebook, on Snapchat, and TikTok is becoming more and more expensive. So really, I think there's going to be a shift into higher ticket value items like courses, like memberships, and things like that, than lower ticket consumables. And I think in the end, for a lot of like consumables or direct to consumer items, a lot of people have to go on Amazon, and then Amazon becomes a gatekeeper, and then I fall back into the situation that I'm with Burger 28, where somebody controls my whole business. So that, wow, I just brain farted everything onto you there.
Yeah. So you also don't want that. You don't want another gatekeeper.
No, I think that's one thing that anybody looking to start a business now is make sure you don't have a gatekeeper. And really
Define what a gatekeeper is.
a gatekeeper is somebody who actually owns the customer. They actually own the distribution channel. That used to be physical. So that's going into Walmart, for example, and you're stocked in Walmart and you have to pay to be at the front of Walmart, or you have to be at the pay when you check out. But now it's more and more digital. So for example, all the customers go onto Talabat. So I need to pay to be at the front when you check out. I need to pay in order for you to get the conversions and all that kind of stuff. And then they take their cut, they take their percentage. And since we're in a situation which is free market capitalism, which I'm a big proponent of, they will obviously extract as much money as they can until they can't. And they've reached that point. You're looking at 35% of your top line, roughly, between the CPC, between the discounts, between all of that. If they were to go to 40, we would shut down. But it's just enough to keep you in the game. You know what I mean? The players who want to stick it out. So, and that's just how the world works. You're not going to leave a $100 bill on the floor. Doesn't happen. Someone will pick it up. You know, and I think Dubai is beautiful for two reasons. One, it's difficult when you're starting a business because if you do something successful, there's a lot of hungry people here who will try and emulate it. So they can compete the profits away really, really fast unless you build a defensible moat. But number two, because of that, you're seeing so many people try different iterations in different businesses that it inspires you to try business yourself. And everybody here is trying to get somewhere, you know, compared to Europe, for example.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting point. And I have a very strong opinion on this.
Really?
Yes.
You never write about it.
Yeah, I do. That, you know, there's lots of people in my friend circles that are thinking about moving to Dubai or have moved to Dubai. And people try and look at it black and white. Okay, weather is good for a number of months. You don't pay tax. You have disposable income. Once you cover your costs, you're kind of good, right? But what Dubai has done to me is that I've been here now 9-10 years, right? And it just opens up your opportunity bracket to meet. If you're open to it, you can meet so many different interesting people that are all working on specific things. There's loads of people that talk a bunch of hot air. But once you get into the right kind of circles, you can actually connect to really interesting people that are working on interesting businesses. And all of a sudden, you get invited to opportunities that you wouldn't have at home. You know, no one thinks in these kind of ways at home. And that maybe outside the US is one of the only kind of places where you really have this thinking about upside. You know, I remember this 2013, I was first time in New York. And I remember this was the first time in the US, right? I remember feeling, man, why is everyone so positive? Like, you know, everyone is falling on their face and they're just, you know, help you back up and go again, right? That I never grew up with that kind of thinking. If you fail in Europe, you're a failure, right? You get stigmatized. In the US, it's like, good job, go again.
Exactly.
You know, and that feeling here is just so energizing. If you want to be in that crowd, you can really make something of yourself. And that's why I want to do this episode, because a lot of people think about, okay, I will try it once, see whether it's for me. If it's not for me, I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to go back to working in corporate, right? I've tried 6, 7, 8 times now in many different kind of industries and stayed in corporate and had so much freedom to invest my time after work or my weekends or whatever into stuff that interests me, right? I wouldn't have done this at home.
No.
You know?
You might also have not even had the opportunity at home.
Exactly. Like, you got to make more money first so that you have something to invest.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, money is one of the leverages that you can use, right?
For sure.
So if you don't have that, then, you know, and then an open mind and people that have the right kind of energy. Energy is a very important factor as well. So you got to surround yourself with the right kind of people. Once you have energy, once you have money, once you have labor, once you understand how to do marketing, you know, all these things, they start falling into place after a while.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that one message that we both talk about a lot in all our discussions, and we really want to hit home to like the younger audience or anybody actually, is that you only need to be right once. Don't have to be right a million times. But in order to, some people get right once in the beginning, and those are all the success stories that you see on social media. Some are true, but other people get it right at 50. Other people get it right at 55, maybe even 60. But you can't fail until you stop trying. And both of us are firm believers that we will make it. Like, there is no doubt in my mind that I will one day head up at least like $100 million company.
Yeah, and that...
Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. That confidence you obviously have to work for, right? But when you have that confidence and you just keep going, I also believe that at some point it's just gonna, you're gonna go through the wall and it's gonna open up and it's gonna happen, right?
And if it doesn't, then at least you die
trying.
Well, you die with no regrets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like one of the biggest, like when I was doing Burger 28, I remember when I started the Burger 28 Instagram account, I started an I am Burger 28 Instagram account, which was going to be my personal. I didn't have the balls to do it. I was scared what other people were going to say and think about me and stuff like that. And had I done that 7 years ago, like, I would have been in a whole different position and in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't have any regrets. And I fixed that problem last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really identifying what you want and then actually working towards and not giving up and not stopping. And as you said, like, yes, you get views, you get comments, you don't get views or whatever, but you still keep going. That's something that you agreed that you're going to do every single day. So you do it, finish.
Yeah.
That's ticked, the box ticked. What's next?
I think that's something that more people need to get into, this whole like going to the gym and stuff and just not having any excuses not going. You can apply this to your work and to your ambition as well, right? You got to have these non-negotiables that you're just going to do no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? And you can take some breaks, like, when I became a dad, and at that point, I didn't worry about working out too much at the beginning.
Dad bod.
Yeah. And then, no, I did. And then I went back into it because that's what most of my life was, working out, right?
But also, how important is like taking care of your physical self?
Yeah, I can't now, especially when you get more and more stress at work. You need to balance that stress. And some people go to drugs and to drinking and to eating and to all sorts of different things. And my vice is actually food, right?
Me too, man.
Yeah, I can eat. And my wife is a very good cook. But at the same time, if I don't work out, I would be 150 kilos, probably getting a heart attack in the next 2 years.
But I also think that you can't, like, if you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself and you're like, I don't like what I look like. Like, no, because your nose is big or something like that. But like, because you just don't feel comfortable in your physical body.
Yeah.
That just messes up your whole day, man.
It will hold you back.
Yeah. There's no way that it can't hold you back, man. I think, and so many people take it lightly, that the physical component, but I think
But I didn't want to make this about working out. Yeah, working out is just one of the non-negotiables that you're gonna keep doing. This is the same as in social media. It's a non-negotiable for you to post, right? It doesn't matter what, whether it's a good day, whether you get comments, whether you get views or not. No, you're gonna keep going. You know that at the end there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you're gonna make it in that space one way or another.
But I think
right?
learning is something else like that. It's a non-negotiable for me as well.
Learning, yes. So you have different kind of aspects in your life that you're just going to do.
So different boxes which are non-negotiable.
Yes. And I feel that people don't have that enough in their life where they're dipping in and out of things. And that's why they don't get to the level that they need to get to have this confidence where they say, I'm definitely going to make it.
But how do you cultivate that mindset then?
You need to expose yourself to as many different things as possible and understand, okay, I like this. I'm going to just do this. Right? Because when you're more junior and you're just doing a job and, you go out with your friends and like your priorities are very different, right? At some point in your career, you're just going to decide, okay, I want to be very successful or I'm happy
cruising
and just, work is not so important for me. Maybe it's family life or maybe it's something else, which is also fine, right? But for the people that are very ambitious and that want to make it at all costs, they have this point in their career, and that probably was like 4 or 5. I mean, I always had this innate in me that I want to make it at some point, but it became a lot more visible.
Acute,
acute when I would say after my first 2 years in Dubai.
I think you know what I just wanted to butt in there, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, is that there's a lot of people who want to get rich. Who want to make it. And the fact that there are a lot of people means that you really need to work in order to do that, because everybody wants it. And if there's something that everybody wants, then you need to be at the front of the pack. You know, so you need to be at your best physical self. You need to be feeding your brain and learning as much as possible. You need to expose yourself to as many things. One thing that I found, so at the beginning of last year, I would listen to podcasts or an audiobook when I was at the gym, not music. It wasn't allowed. And then halfway through the year, I kind of like, you listen to the podcast, then you go into music, and then you're in music. And then beginning of this year, I stopped. Dude, I've already read, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 books, something like that. And I only listen to music on the weekend. So it's like something which is special for me. To work out with music is a treat, you know? But listening to the 1 hour podcast or 1 hour book in the morning is a non-negotiable. I cannot tell you how much information you can gain by forcing yourself to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And one thing which I found that keeps my self-confidence and also belief that one day I'll make it is listening to the stories of different founders, man. Like Founders Podcast, listening to the stories of all these guys is so powerful, because you think you're dealing with like a real problem, and then you listen to their problems. Like it's unbelievable how petty your problem is. So man up, you know what I mean? And get going and get to it.
Yeah.
Obviously, money is an important factor as you get older. And I think that's why it gets more and more difficult to take the risks. Again, if you're a dad, you have a family, you have education, you have a minimum cost to keep the household going. You know, so for younger people, man, build that self-confidence, read biographies or listen to founders and see what people had to go through, so that you keep that mindset that you will make it. And it could take long, it could take short, but
I'm going to challenge you on the last point.
God damn.
I don't know how many books we have read, but you know, I'm probably over 100 and I don't know how many podcasts, right?
Comic books don't count, huh?
No, I don't read that. But at the end of the day, at some point, you get to a point where the self-help books, the business books, the stories of other people, all of that kind of stuff, it's a form of entertainment, right? It's like watching Netflix. Yeah. Okay. It's a bit more stimulating, but at the end of the day, you know what you have to do to succeed, right? You know all the things that you need to do. Okay. You need to figure out marketing. You need to figure out blah, 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 right? At some point, there's very little additional gain into listening to more stories, more books, more whatever. And you just got to put your head down and figure stuff out.
But the putting your head down.
But sorry, okay. For me, sometimes this getting sidetracks and listening to a lot of different kind of books actually stops me from taking action, because I just continue consuming other people's ideas, whereas I know I need to do this.
I see. For me, the doing part is a non-negotiable as well. Like I know that it needs to get done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just talking about what fuels. Like I'm doing this every single day and I'm not getting a result.
Yeah.
You know I have to do it. I know in the end, but then at the end of it, you're like, God damn, there's no result. And then when I listen to somebody's story, but I agree with you. Like you can't just read the book. You need to act. And it doesn't mean that his story will work for you.
No, it's just an inspiration.
Yeah, it's an inspiration, and I circle back, and it's been a couple months that I've been focused on this like self-doubt thing. Like every time you have a shadow of doubt in your head, like you need to say why do you have that? Why is that there? It's such a waste of time. And if it's because you felt uncomfortable public speaking, well then you need to go and public speak more.
Yeah.
If it's because you felt fat the other day, then you need to go and lose weight. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, you need to. I'm also kind of looking at what scares me or what makes me feel uncomfortable, and just run towards that and see what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, no, there's definitely a side of it where you need to be feeding yourself, but then you have to take action. And so many people don't want to take action.
So go and build confidence. Don't stop stacking those skills, and have firm belief in yourself that at some point you're going to make it. You don't know when, you don't know what it's going to look like, but that's the exciting part of life, right? You just go after it, and at some point you're going to make it.
But when we do, don't worry, we'll tell you. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.